recommended end to polio vaccines?
Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Keep moving.
Thanks.
Mr. Kennedy, what is your view on abortion?
Oh, I see 4.
Mr. Kennedy, do you still believe that childhood autism is
Mr.
caused by
Kennedy, are you
vaccines?
pro-choice? Mr. Kennedy, what's your views on American farming? What would you like to change? Mr. Kennedy, what's your priority for the first couple of days?
Do you think autism is linked to vaccines?
Do you support school mandates, Mr. Kennedy? School mandates for vaccines?
Mr. Kennedy, are you going to revoke any vaccine?
Are we going in? No, sir.
Really productive, really good.
Hey, good morning to you, Bill. So we are about to see RFK Jr. walk into Senator Capito's office right behind me. That's his first meeting of a very busy day for him, the third day here on the Hill out of 4. And he's been telling reporters that his meetings have been really productive. That's what he says publicly. Privately, Bill, he's really having to answer some tough questions with senators about a variety of topics, everything from processed foods, high fructose corn syrup, and abortion. This is what he told Senator Tommy Tuberville about his stance on abortion.
Well, I just asked him, I said, in the past you've been pro-abortion. And he said, well, it's basically, President Trump has sat down and talked about it, and both of them came to an agreement. Hey, Roe Wade is gone back to the states, let the people vote on it.
Okay, so Kennedy has also expressed a desire to meet with Democrats, and there are a few that want to meet with him. But incoming GOP leader John Thune says some Democrats aren't responding to invitations from some of Trump's cabinet picks. So we'll look into that. Meanwhile, Labor Secretary nominee Lori Chavez DeRemer makes her Hill debut today. And, the Teamsters president is a big fan of hers, but her sponsorship of the PRO Act, which some Republicans do oppose, that may become a problem for her. So, Bill, at this hour, as we almost get into the holiday season and Congress takes a break, there are zero no votes on the scoreboard. There are very few yes votes for these candidates, not enough to confirm them just yet. A lot more senators are basically just saying, I want to wait, get through this process. I want to see the background checks, and I want to get through the hearing. Okay. So holding their time.
Yes, indeed. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Aisha. Nice to see you leading our coverage there today.
And joining us for more on this is Republican Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. It's great to have you. I think that the advise and consent process is super interesting, and it's not like instant confirmation, just add water. It does take a little bit of time. What do you think about the process so far?
Well, I think it's been going right. It's my first time to go through this process through the noms and them actually coming in and meeting with me. I've enjoyed the process, but Article 2, Section 2 does give us the right to advise and consent. It's impressive to see how many senators are taking this to heart. But at the same time, we understand that President Trump has a cabinet that he's wanting to get in place as soon as possible, and there hasn't been a single no on any of his noms saying they're not going to vote for him. I think they're methodically going through the process. And let me tell you, every one of these individuals that the president has nominated, they're on Capitol Hill doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's not about putting yeses on the board. It's about keeping no's off the board. And they have done that. You've seen the way Pete has handled this. You've seen the way Tulsi's handled this, the way Cash has handled this. Lori will be, I think I'm her first stop today in my office. I've got to meet with the majority of them so far, and I've enjoyed every one of the conversations. And they don't shy away from the tough questions. They're prepared when they walk in the door, and I think that's why so many people have after they meet with them come out and said, yeah, we look forward to confirming them.
A very interesting answer there. Here is Senator John Kennedy out of Louisiana and his concerns about RFK, specifically on abortion.
I want to talk to Mr. Kennedy about his abortion stand. He's all over his map, all over the map. There's some of his comments could be construed, I think fairly, to suggest that he supports abortion up to the moment of birth. And I don't think any fair-minded American does.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but if he draws that out and at least leaves the impression in a public hearing, I mean, what can you lose? Like 4 votes total?
No, I don't. He answered that straight out for me, and I've had the privilege of getting to know Bobby because we campaigned together. We're in the motorcade together. We've already had these tough conversations, but I met with Bobby either yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure. I think it was yesterday. And we had a great conversation. When I asked him about it, I said, how are you going to explain this? Because you're going to come in front of my committee and you're going to be asked this question. He said, first of all, I think there's too many abortions, period. And now I'm a father of 6 with 3 adopted and 3 biologicals. I like to say 3 that came natural and 3 we chose. And so I don't think anyone should get an abortion. I think it gives parents like me the opportunity to be loved from children that their mothers are brave enough to actually give birth to them and allow us to bring them in our family. The way Bobby answered it to me, though, he says, here's where it comes down to one thing. I'm serving at the president's will. I'm to put his policies first, and that's exactly what I'll do. And I think we all know where President Trump is on this issue. That's fine. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different ideas about things, and we may not agree on every issue. But if he understands he's serving President Trump, our Republican president, and that's his agenda, and that's what he's going to put forth, Bill, I have no issue with that.
And he said yesterday in the hallway when asked about does he support the polio vaccine, he said, yeah, I support it.
Absolutely.
Do you think any backsliding on that, or that's what he supports?
No, he supported that from the first time I talked to him. When we first talked about vaccinations, which he's actually, if you have time to talk to him, he's extremely smart. Mm-hmm. And when he started talking about the vaccines, what he has an issue with is not the base of the vaccines, it's the rest of them. And we're doing 72 shots. I mean, when my kids go in for their shots when they were 2 and 3, they come out and they look like a pincushion. And he's like, there's something going on here because in my day, only 1 in 10,000 kids were diagnosed as autistic. Now 1 in 34 kids and 1 in 22 males are diagnosed as autistic. I'm not saying that's from the vaccines. I'm saying we should do more studies and find out what's causing that because there's no other country in the world that has those statistics. What's the difference? And I think that's real. I mean, 1 in 34 and 1 in 22 males. It's going to affect every family.
Perhaps worth more study, but I think that the vaccine and autism connection has been they've looked into that particular one. But I see your point, and I think there are a lot of moms out there, moms and dads are saying, does it make sense to give this many shots at this time? So perhaps that's a conversation that is worth having.
And what Trump has said is go out and get the information, bring it to us, and we're going to have this public discussion. We're going to see whether or not Democrats are willing to meet with him or how many they're willing to meet with before their hearings, because right now they're not necessarily lining up. But, sir, thank you for coming on. It's great to get your perspective. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
All right.
He said to me he does not believe the United States, these are his words, can be the moral leader of the free world and have abortion at this level. He thinks it's a top priority to get the number of abortions down in the United States and that the number of babies up, which is very interesting. Secondly, he said that he will absolutely implement President Trump's pro-life agenda without any question whatsoever.
RFK Jr. is slated to meet with more than 24 Senate Republicans. You can see them there on your screen. Those meetings happening this week. But there's no word yet on whether any Democrats are going to be meeting with RFK Jr. But the incoming Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, of course, is criticizing Democrats for not doing enough here, he says, to try to meet with Trump's nominees, or some he's claiming are even refusing meetings with some of Trump's nominees. But what makes RFK different than all of these other of Trump's nominees is the fact that some Democrats have actually expressed interest in his views, specifically those about how he would overhaul the food industry. So some bipartisan support there. We'll see if these meetings with Democrats happen, though.